be to determine what's going to happen if they're not going to comply.
Do you have any more that you're working on?
Yes.
That you're gonna bring up?
Yes.
Just gonna keep rolling.
Yes. Actually, we have one that I'm going to bring back up. We've already talked to them once, and they said they were going to clean it up. That's off of Somerset Road. So we have to bring them back up, and I don't know if we're going to, we've already given them a chance to remove it all, so now it's time for them to get the other letter. So I need to bring it back up to you and show you what they haven't complied. So they've actually brought more vehicles on.
I don't think I can copy that letter.
The misdemeanor letter? I just have one on. This is the courtesy letter. And once I do this misdemeanor letter, it does go to the prosecuting attorney, the entire file list.
So we'll just send this in certain time, right?
Right. Because we've asked them to comply. They did come in here and say they were, and they said, remember they said they had those vehicles they were trying to sell, they're still sitting there, they haven't sold them, so they have yet to comply, and they've added more vehicles. So I was gonna send them a quick courtesy, and then, you know, I'll let you see it all again, but a quick courtesy, but there's no hearing, it's going straight to let them know, it's going to the prosecuting attorney's office.
That's the one, yeah, you said,
Yeah.
get more people said sold some, got rid of some, right?
Yeah, and I'll give him 10 days, and I'll drive by and take a photo after 10 days. Nothing's changed, then off it goes. But I'll bring that up next week.
Anything else in the problem?
No, I haven't had any problems with it. If I do, prosecuting attorney said all I need to do is let her know, and she will have the sheriff assist me in it. And, or she'll get a court order. So,
Very good. Second thing on the agenda tonight was for members for the zoning appeals. We have 4 members that are on the board now. We need to go ahead and fill one more spot and have at least 2 alternates. The members that are on there now: Paul Scanlon, clerk; Lee Rathburn, Mike Zinsmeister, Jeff Baird. There was a question about Jeff Baird at the last meeting, if he wanted to still do it, and I talked to him, he said he was still interested in doing it, so. The interest that Jenny had received to run the ad was Dave Skinner, Jack Hedges, Hattie Boland, and Shirley Hines, which is a little note here, said she spoke to Jeff. So we need to
That's Steve Livingston. He said he'd be on it too. Told me last night. He told me last night.
Well, just because he told you doesn't mean he told us.
I'm telling you now.
It's not public comment, I'm sorry.
I'm still telling you now.
All right, so what we'll do is we'll fill the one remaining position, and then we have 4 interests, so we'll just do the other 3 as alternates. I guess one fair way to do it is make it 4. You guys have told me about it past, you guys done 4. We've done 4. I mean, I think that's probably the only fair way to do it.
He's gotta have paper.
You happy with that? Any other ideas? Look, we we decide. She's given me the time doing that.
And this deals with appeals. We have an appeals hearing on the 23rd.
For a piece of property.
There's a meeting, yes. And
Okay.
the last one, not enough people showed up. It was just enough to make the vote, and we want everyone.
Can I make a comment? Because,
If it has to do with,
yes, it does. When my husband died, his term was not up yet on the appeals board.
yeah,
And I came to the trustees and told them that he was vice president. And told them that his term wasn't up and that I would fill his term. And if you watch, I'm sure it's one of the videos, they told me it was fine to go ahead and fill it, and then, like, his term was up in June or July, and they, as far as I understood, I was appointed to that board. So I don't understand what happened.
we don't have the name on the list here. Honestly, I don't know what happened. I talked to the prosecutor about this real quick, and she advised that, said if somebody's on the board and their term runs out, say it ran out in December of this year, or say January of this year, and they're still on the board either until they resign or until we fill their position. So if we don't fill their position for a year, they're still on board until we fill it. But that doesn't really answer your question. We're still on board. But there's nothing here that says that.
Is that the board you was on?
Somebody else says that you showed interest in it. Just you weren't on the board though. You didn't sit in the last meeting. Not meeting, the last appeals they had.
And I didn't even know about the appeals meeting.
I think that's what they did last time, was they drew names out of the hat to, just to be fair about it, and it's not pick and choose. It's not a fair way to do it. I mean, I'll open up public comments. Anybody have any other suggestion? How we do it?
We did the names out of the hat. We did the board.
The board did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the guys that were coming on, the alternates, there was no, it was just who was in line first.
So you're saying the alternates took a position, and then they filled the alternate spot?
Right.
Well, we don't have, I mean, in this situation, we don't have any really alternates. We don't have enough people to do that. It says on here, this is what it says Paul Scanlon's the clerk, Lee Rathburn, and they were members. Mike Zinsmeister and Jeff Barrett are alternates. Well, they got moved up to the
We
board.
got moved on now.
Right, so now we don't have anybody else to move up.
But just like Patty said, that's what I understood the board to say before, that she would take Bob's place.
I'm sure if somebody would take the time and watch the video, it's gotta be on there.
Well, I would think
The
it should be
board
on.
votes on who's in the positions. You can't just, the trustees can't say, yeah, you can take his position.
Right.
The board, the appeals have to say, yes, you can be the vice president, but you guys can say she's on the board.
Right, we pick who's on the board, but then they have their own meeting, pick president,
Right.
Right.
vice president, clerk, correct.
So
You see,
there
this-
must have been a miscommunication
That's what I thought.
So see,
somewhere.
this is the thing, Dee was the president of the board,
Okay.
and she resigned, I think actually the same month that Bob died, I'm not sure, it was in that time frame. Dee resigned from the appeals board and went to the zoning board. So that left the appeals board with no president or vice president. So I said that I would fill Bob's unexpired term, because they didn't have anyone else that wanted to do it, and didn't want to advertise for it. So as far as I knew, I was on that board.
And I mean, honestly, was that the legal way to do it was, because they didn't advertise or anything, so. I mean, I'm
Well,
not
that's
saying.
always the way they've done it in the past.
Right, I'm not saying he didn't do it, because he
Yeah,
could do it, it just, it wasn't advertised or anything like that, so. When they did it before, I mean, you guys know, is that how they drew names out of the hat to?
When we
Pick the members.
Remember, the board was
Yes,
non-existent.
yes,
Started the board, we put names in the hat.
Right.
But we had alternates to move up. There was no drawing for the alternates.
right,
But they were, initially, the whole board and the zoning appeals board were all drew out of the hats initially. But then we had enough people for the board and the alternates.
right.
See, that's why it's important to keep up with this stuff. If you
Sure.
really think about it, just like everything else, you gotta keep up with it, you gotta keep current, you gotta keep alternates on board all the time.
Sure,
Same as with the worker situation, same thing. You
Yeah.
gotta keep people on board
but it's,
so you don't run into this.
it's just like any volunteer board, you know, they don't get paid for it, it's, you know,
Oh, I
people
agree.
move on with their lives and they don't wanna do it anymore, things come up, you know.
But that didn't happen
It
overnight.
gets put to the wayside.
You didn't lose, what, 3, 4 people and, you know, just,
No, you're right, but I mean, I don't call these people every day and say, hey, you still on board? Monday, you still on board? Tuesday,
But
you
the
still on board?
board's supposed to meet once a year so that they stay current.
Sure,
And the board hasn't met since before Bob died.
sure, and
Right.
the board should.
right, and that's what I'm saying, that's why you gotta keep
Mhm.
current and you
Sure.
keep this stuff up and whose
And-
responsibility is that? Well, you know.
Well, and you can ask Dee, I kept saying to her, you know, isn't Paul going to call a meeting?
I agree, I'm definitely, they need to keep, they should probably do more than one meeting a year, you know? Doesn't hurt to come down and meet for 15 minutes.
Being the zoning inspector, I'll make sure that there's a meeting once a year from now on, because I'll just call the meeting.
Set a date.
Yes.
Definitely. Okay, so I mean, the position that we're in right now is we have 4 people on the board. We need to fill 1 spot and then at least 2 alternates, and we have 4 interests. So we could fill 1 spot and have 3 alternates.
Yeah.
Is that how you look at it? How you guys look at it? So you know what fair way to do it, I guess, and we'll draw names out of a hat, that way we can't pick and choose. Dave's got a hat, move a hat. Dave, you got it?
Yeah,
Seriously, you chat.
wash your hands before you stick it in there. Hand
Yeah, I'm gonna bring that up also, because I'm gonna tell them we need to meet. Because if the boards aren't current, I can't even do my job. So, yeah. So,
I think they have.
we had a meeting
place-
last year.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah. But there are some things we need to bring up that they didn't finish, they never went forward, so they've gotta be completed, so. And prosecuting attorney had some things she brought up that she'd like to see changed,
Put Dusty in there too.
that are totally outdated,
Yeah, a lot of that is.
yeah.
I don't have a problem putting somebody else in there, but they're not here to tell us or tell.
He's at the hospital right now. He got 2nd-degree burns last night.
How do you feel about that? What do you think about that?
You know him.
I mean, I don't have a problem with somebody that's interested in doing it, I mean, it's a volunteer board, that's fine, it's just.
I would have thought they would have contacted a trustee.
Nobody, yeah.
They don't get the.
Either the trustee or the clerk to let them know.
Skin is spelled with 2 N's, unless you're in a hurry and spell with 1.
We got her. What do you think about that last one?
We can put him on as an alternate. I don't know.
I really don't know on that one.
That's what you're drawing for now, is alternates anyhow.
Well, we're
Well,
not,
one primary.
fill one
One
position.
Primary, yeah.
Right.
I mean, we can do all this for the station and just put him on as an alternate extra, you know what I mean?
What did your ad say? To contact Jenny, to let her know your interest?
Any interest?
Then that wasn't done, so you need to go with what you said.
I mean, that's kinda how I feel, is if I'd got a phone call, or Jenny got a phone call, I mean, it would've been on this paper, and I'm not trying to shut him out, it just,
That's how it looks.
you know, it shouldn't.
No
Why would
matter
it
how
be
it
that way?
looks, that's what it is.
Nothing was brought up, brought up to me or Jenny, so. All right, well, we have 4 names in the hat: Dave Skinner, Jack Hedges, Patty Boland, and Shirley Haynes. We'll go ahead and draw for it to be to fill the last seat on the board, and then we'll do the alternates. Well, she's on. She's in here.
My name's in there.
Want me to draw
We'll
it?
draw.
I'm not going for it.
We're going well draw there. Don't peek. Draw one.
Okay, here's the one.
All right, first on board is Dave Skinner.
I'll draw another one here.
He shouldn't put his name on them.
I know, right? And then, we'll just go ahead and go down the line
Yeah.
for the alternates.
You want me to draw?
Yep, start one at a time there, and I'll write it down. First alternate,
What do I call him?
go ahead.
Jack Hedges.
First alternate is Jack Hedges,
Patty Bowles.
second alternate is Patty Boland,
Shirley
the
Haynes.
third one is Shirley Haynes, and that's all.
That's it.
But can't his person be an alternate too?
We put him down as the last alternate.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have a problem with that, it's just. is
You
it-
better
Who is it,
check.
Dusty? Is it Dusty, is that who it is?
One of them was taken off that board before for unethical stuff.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Elaborate a little more.
He was taken off the board because it was unethical for him to do what he was doing.
What was he doing?
He was, are you talking about Jack Hedges?
Yeah.
Jack Hedges was removed from the board because he was a worker at the time.
Yeah,
It
He's
was
allowed to be on the
unethical
board,
for
he's
him
not
to
a
be
worker
doing
now.
that. Plus, there's been a couple court cases on
Has nothing to do with that, he was removed
Yeah.
because he was a
Yes,
worker,
it
they said it
does.
was a
He's not a
conflict of
worker. He's
interest.
not a
it.
worker.
He does
Whatever
not
he
work
was,
in town.
I'm talking!
Hey, come on.
Whatever he did when he was on the board, they've decided on, when he was on the board, you guys are liable for it if they come back now. If
If
he's
they have a
back on
problem,
there.
If they have a problem, come see me about it.
They ain't gonna come see you, they're gonna go to the prosecutor.
That's fine. Actually, they'd have to go through us, go to the prosecutor, but that's.
No, they wouldn't.
Okay.
We'll go ahead and put Dusty on if he's interested, as the
Yes.
last alternate. We didn't have any other response on that, so, Mr. Stepp had brought in another name that somebody was interested in being on the board. So we'll go ahead and put him down as the fourth alternate. And go ahead, it's Dusty, what's Dusty's last name?
Livingston.
Well, Dusty Livingston is the fourth alternate then. Okay. That's all the business we have for tonight, so we'll go ahead and everything else. We'll make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll second it.
Meeting's adjourned at 7:35.
Have a hat.
Yes, sir.
Wait a minute.